Alright, I had a chance to take a look at the PAP pistol with the 5.56 option alongside of this PAP pistol with the 7.62 by 39. So let's take a closer look at this 5.56 version. First glance, it looks pretty similar. A lot of the same features, but there's some noticeable differences. We'll take a look at them. Just real quickly, we'll take a look at the 7.62 model. First thing you notice, or you may notice, is that there's a bulge in the receiver. So these use a real RPK receiver compared to the 7.62 version, at least this 7.62 version, just using our standard AKM receiver. And if we look at them from the back, we should be able to see the difference there in the thickness of the metal. Pretty obvious that the one on the left, the 5.56 version, which has the RPK receiver, has quite a bit thicker steel. Otherwise, taking a look at the rest of the parts, most obvious second feature is that the magazine's a little straighter, of course, because it's using 5.56, but it's also made out of polymer, and it's, as far as I can tell, except for the spring, pretty much 100% polymer. There's a floor plate. Well, I guess we could take this apart, and I don't see anything like steel feed lips, but we'll take a closer look at that in a second here. Looking inside, you can see that the feed ramp is pretty decent. Pretty sure these are made pretty solidly. Haven't seen a lot of reviews on the 5.56 versions yet. You can see that the muzzle nut is welded on like the 7.62 version. We have the flip up night sights with a little white dot there. It's just white paint though, it's not translucent or anything. We still have the flip up sight in the back as well. And uses the same hinged dust cover. It's got the polished carrier, and it's actually pretty smooth action. The pistol grip is about as crude as the 7.62 models. It'll only really take a minute or two with some sandpaper or Dremel tool or something to smooth it up, but it definitely has a ridge to it. They didn't spend a lot of time on the mold, I guess. Otherwise, real strong. It looks like it's set up to receive a underfolder stock, so it should be an easy conversion, just like the other PAP pistols. Now let's take a look at what I would consider the one weakness on it, and that's its magazine. For a couple of reasons. One, they only give you one, and I think they only give you one, and it's polymer, 100% polymer, and this really feels flimsy. Let's take a look at those feed lips. Sure don't look or feel like metal to me. The follower tips, which is kind of unusual on an AK. So I'll have to wait and watch reviews of guys that shoot these a lot to know how the magazines are going to work. But the other problem is, besides the magazine they give you, where are you going to get magazines? I suppose you could buy some 74 mags and hope they work, or look for 5.56 mags. Of course, there's not a lot of those out there, and you usually pay premium for them. So while it's a pretty cool pistol, it's got the RPK receiver, which gives it that bulge for the front trunnion. It's awesome. Seems to be put together very well. Another more subtle difference between the two is on the 5.56 version, or at least this 5.56 version, we don't have the X or Y dimples, where on this, at least this 7.62 model, we do have the dimples, both the X and the unused Y dimple, which doesn't matter for function or anything. It's just an interesting that they didn't put it in there. Another thing I guess we could take a look at are the dimples, and they do differ a bit. This one's a little shorter and this one's a little longer. Another nice feature on both of these is the double hook trigger, and you can see when you pull the trigger that there's a hook on either side there. So there's a cutout for them in the receiver. And if we were to look down into the trigger there, you can see that there's a hook on both sides of the hammer. When you pull the hammer there, there's the two hooks on the trigger. And not that that makes a big difference, but I guess potentially, you've got redundancy there, you've got more strength, you get less force on each hook, and potentially longer lifespan, or at least redundancy if one side does break. Honestly, it's not something, again, that's a deal breaker. Just interesting and nice to see it's there. Aside from just a couple of issues that I have with the magazine, I suspect this is a pretty nice, handy little pistol. and excellent candidate for an SBR. And again, I'm not in the market for these magazines, so I never shop for them. If I'm wrong and these magazines are available somewhere inexpensively, please feel free to leave a comment. So that's a quick look at the PAP 5.56 pistol out of Yugoslavia, or now Serbia. Thanks for watching.
The guys and gals at gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.